Imagine biting into a warm, cinnamon-scented coffee cake fresh from the campfire. Sounds amazing, right? Welcome to Don's Camp Cooking Easy. I'm Don, and today we're diving into some Dutch oven baking. If you're a fan of easy, no-fuss recipes for around the campfire or even in your kitchen at home, stick around. We have a good one for you, and I think you're going to like it. For today's recipe, we'll be cooking with some coals. So I start off with about 30 in my chimney, put a little newspaper on the bottom, get the fire started, and create a bunch of smoke. But we'll need these guys, as you'll see a little bit later. For equipment, we're just using a Dutch oven, some parchment paper, a mixing bowl and spoon, and you've already seen the coals that we use for the heat. The ingredients are pretty simple. We'll start with 2 cups of Bisquick, 2/3 a cup of milk, a 1/4 cup of sugar, and 1 egg. This is basically a biscuit recipe with the egg and the sugar. What the egg will do is create a structure and stability within the batter and add moisture to the cake so it doesn't crumble up like sometimes biscuits will. And we'll mix this together so you have kind of a pancake batter consistency. Now we're ready for the streusel topping. This consists of 1/3 of a cup of Bisquick, 1/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 tablespoons of firm butter. I'll mix this up a little bit with a fork, and then I add 3/4 of a cup of chopped pecans. I said heck with the fork and just stuck my hand in here. What I'm trying to do is get the butter incorporated throughout that streusel topping. Now you notice I have my 10-inch Dutch oven. I've greased the bottom and also greased this parchment paper. I'm putting parchment paper in here primarily to help me get the finished cake out of the Dutch oven without having to tip it upside down. With that streusel topping, which will be kind of loose, I didn't want to take that chance, so in goes the parchment paper. You'll see the batter, like I said, kind of like a thick pancake batter. I'll pour that in and even it out in the Dutch oven, and then we'll sprinkle on this streusel topping. It really smells good before we even put the heat to it with that cinnamon and brown sugar and the pecans. And so we just want to get it on as even as we can, and then we will put it on the heat. I'm aiming for about 375 degrees, which is where you want to set your home oven if you're doing this in your kitchen. My coals have been warming up for about 15 minutes. I'm going to put 5 or 6 underneath to get some heat going, to get that batter cooking on the bottom side. Then I'll put probably 15 or 20 on top to create that miniature oven atmosphere inside of the Dutch oven. You have to be kind of careful and rotate your Dutch oven every so often so that you're not building up any hot spots, and you also want to rotate your lid for the same reason. And I'll rotate that lid about 1/4 of a turn the opposite direction that I'm rotating my Dutch oven. Now you don't want to check your cake too often because you keep letting all the heat out, but after about 15 minutes I decided to check it for doneness. I know it was getting close, but as you see on the knife, it was still a little soft in the middle. I put the Dutch oven back on some bottom coals just to get that center part cooked, and it totaled out to about 20 minutes on the heat. Now you'll see the reason that I put the parchment paper in here. Dutch oven's still pretty hot, but this thing pulled right out. That little bit of grease I put in the bottom of the oven helped that from sticking, and you can see how well this turned out. And I have to mention the smartest dog in the world, Clementine, who decided to go out and lay in the dirt right after we spent $60 getting her hair done. Well, what do I like about this coffee cake made with Bisquick? First thing, it was easy. Second thing, it was quick. Hence the quick in Bisquick. It literally took half as long to cook as if I would have made this all from scratch. 20 minutes in a Dutch oven. The pecans, I didn't roast them ahead of time like I usually do, but I knew I was going to have a lot of top heat on that Dutch oven, so I just let them in there and let them roast on top of this streusel, which has spread that roasted flavor all through the streusel, and it is so dang good. So I got a generous helping of butter on top of this. Got to support the dairyman. So give it a shot. There's not a whole lot to this cake. You saw what I put into it, the few ingredients, mixed them up pretty quick, 20 minutes in the Dutch oven, and here we are. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.
rebel man who never hides.